Hi everybody, I'm Tom, and welcome to Amateur Bicycle Hour. Today, I'm going to be getting rid of all my carbon fiber parts. I just don't like them. I don't need carbon fiber. I don't need to worry about carbon fiber. And so, out it goes. But I am a complete amateur. I have no idea how this is going to go. So follow along while I tinker away. Alright, so as you can see, we have the suspect. Very nice bike. I have no qualms with this bike, other than the carbon fiber. It's a Salsa Chili Con Crosso, circa 2010. It's the first bike I took seriously, and because I have it, I've been riding every day ever since. It's got carbon fiber front fork and carbon fiber crank. This is by FSA, full speed ahead if you didn't know. And the front fork is made by a company, something Q, I think. Like I said, I don't know anything about anything. I'm just some guy. But what I can tell you is that on YouTube, people talk about these cracks and gouges and lines. And they say, oh, carbon fiber's bad when it got cracks and scratches and gouges. It's gonna break. So I'm like, nah. Talk to my buddies, they're like, nah. They're like, that fork is fine. Them cranks is fine. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. And then I'm like down the road riding the bike. I'm like, is it fine? This is a steep hill. I'm pedaling down or up. I'm like swerving around this thing, headed towards these people. I'm like, is this fork all good? They're like, tap on it with a dime. I'm tapping on it with a dime. I'm like, take it to a bike shop. I'm like, looking up carbon fiber specialists. Forget it. Just get rid of it. What do I, again, let's not get started with that. Let me just move on with my life. So, the problem is, here's the problem. The cranks that are on the bike, they take this ISIS bottom bracket. Like I said, I don't know anything about bikes. And at first, I was just cleaning things up. I was like, yeah, I got a new bottom bracket. On this on eBay. I spent $50 on the stupid thing. Here's my point. I only later figured out when I was going to put the bottom bracket that the cranks had the crack in it. Now I've spent $50 for this ISIS bottom bracket, and my cranks need to be replaced. However, this pattern here, this ISIS pattern, the crank goes on, that right there, that's like totally 90s, dude. Early 2000s, they don't do that anymore. You really can't find a crank for that. And if you figure out why, you'll discover that it's because everyone regards these bottom brackets as garbage. And they're happy to see them go. I tell you what, I could do external bearing crankset. Probably, I don't know. Although they say it screws up your chain line. And that's going to be a ton of money. So in the meantime, I'm just going to be putting on like some good old school Sugino Super Maxi Forge 170s. I mean, nothing special about that. This was a 2-speed with a chain guard. Used a hole saw to minimize it. Now it's a 110 BCD pattern. You know, bolt whatever ring I can find to it. Let's see what I got. Maybe, yeah, I got this one laying around. Something like that. It's kind of tacky. You know what? If I can ride the bike, I want. And it's actually a nice ring. It's a SRAM 42 tooth. That's how many teeth I want. It's got the narrow, wide pattern on it. This bike set up as a 1x, so that's perfect. So I see no reason not to do it. I just need a square taper bottom bracket, not this ISIS crap. So I'm going to try to harvest one. I know I've got one here. Okay, I ordered this. This is a decent Shimano square taper bottom bracket. And if you're an amateur, you're like, oh yeah, sure, what's wrong with that? That's great. Somebody notice this right here? That spacing right there. What happens is you go to put this crank arm on, and by the time you tighten it, it's rubbing on the face of the bottom bracket. So clearly you need a longer spindle of the bottom bracket. And until I have one that works, I don't see a reason I'm just going to keep ordering parts. I just go to the junkyard. There's a junkyard around my house. They got a ton of bikes, bottom brackets, all that. And these will be these are the forks we're going to use. These are some Surly cross-check steel forks. They're not crappy. They're really nice. I bought them new. They're not as light as my carbon fibers. But these things are not going bad. They're steel. I mean, you're really going to have to crash this bike. And if there's going to be something wrong with these, you're going to see it right away. It's not going to be like, oh, I hope nothing's wrong with them. I may worry about it the whole time I'm riding my bike, even though I'm going to relax. What we're going to do, we're going to take this bicycle, which is crappy, and I found it in the trash. We're going to take its bottom bracket out. We're going to see if it fits the Chili Con Grosso. And if it does, we're going to see if that crankset will bolt to this bottom bracket. And I mean, it feels alright. Probably a piece of crap of a bottom bracket. But if it gets me down the road, gets me a start, and I can measure how long the spindle is, so I know what to order. And maybe even go to Bello Orange is what I've heard, and you want to spend a lot of money. That's the whole point. I don't want to spend a lot of money. So, let's see if we can take it apart. So, the first thing I'm going to do is pull this other crank arm off of here, because it's got to come off the bottom bracket, and it's going to be much easier to do if it's mounted to the bike still. So let's take this off. 14 millimeter. Just going to go ahead and take the retaining bolts out. So much I've figured out. One of the things I've learned is there is a simple crank puller. It pulls the crank off of your ISIS bottom bracket, pulls the crank off of your square taper bottom bracket, pulls the crank off of your Octolink bottom bracket, your Shimano 105, all these different standards that all do the same exact thing. None of them are arguably that much better than the other. They all need to be serviced. In fact, these old school square taper ones, they still sell them new. They still sell cranks for them. And I think that's because they're probably the best, easiest to service, cheapest, last the longest, simplest. No need to mess with the kind of designs. And the bike industry just can't have that. Just can't do it. But nevertheless, square taper still around. And we're going to use it. Okay, so the next thing I think needs to happen is this lock ring right here. That's locking the tensioning nut on. I believe these are all standard thread. Could be wrong. Let's bang on it with a hammer a few times to see if it moves. If it doesn't, a different size. Or we'll go the other direction, I mean. Alright, so when you're working on the bike you care about, watch the frame. This one I don't care about. I'm sure you're supposed to have a tool for this. Again, amateur here. Alright, don't expect me to have all the right tools. Total noob. Finding bikes in the garbage. I'm trying to get parts off of them. You know, if I can replace the transmission in a dump truck, I can get this bike back on the road. I ain't worried about it. For this one, shouldn't be that tight. I'm just gonna do some channies here, hopefully. There we go. See, no specialty tools really required. They say before I get to the other side, LOL. Bearing in there, a metal shard for my shenanigans. Alright. I think we can even pull this out of there. Spoop. Flip this back around. And now, we're going to see what kind of weirdness this is going to be. Well, that looks like a big nut. You know what I'm going to do? I'm such an amateur, right? You thought I was going to say channel locks, didn't you? Let's see if I have a wrench. Ooh. Okay. It's a huge head channel locks. Sue me. Now this one's a reverse thread. Because it's on the drive side. I'm still trying to get this. In 3 years, I've been dealing with bikes. Still trying to memorize which side goes forward. Gotta believe it's this side. They don't give you much to grab onto. Again, you're supposed to have the right tool for the job. And I am a proponent of that. Holy smokes! Is it reverse thread? Gotta be. One of them is. Gotta be. Boy, this makes me nervous. Oh. Okay, well, that didn't work. I can smell the slippage. It smells like metal and gunpowder. I don't know. Guess we're gonna hit it with some penetrating oil. Let it soak. And we'll Google if it's a reverse thread. I'm sure it is. Okay. Maybe. No, I don't think that's a good idea. Maybe. What about this guy? Talk about the wrong tool for the job. I should win an award for this. This is like furthest from the proper tool. But you know what? Plumbers use these things all the time. And they work for plumbing. It should work, right? Going with the theory that it's reverse thread. Like, hey, it ain't going nowhere. Okay, one more try. I can hear you guys in the comments. Now, let me tell you what. Your disapproval only makes me stronger. It only increases my resolve. I may not get this off with the pipe wrench, but it's not going to be the right tool. I promise you that. Ugh. Maybe it's worth a goog. Well, I'm a grown-ass adult and have other things to do. So join me tomorrow. We'll see if we can get that bottom bracket out of that old crappy bike.